welcome to another Fight Night review. This is for the one that took place last night, I believe, the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was the co-main event between Alexandre Pantoja and Brandon Moreno for the UFC Flyweight Championship, with Moreno obviously being the defending champion. As always, it's my job to break it down round by round and not remember as much as I can because I took notes. I know, I'm concerned, but I do have them written down, so yeah, I'm going to use those to formulate an improvised script of sorts as we go along. We got full 5 rounds to go through, so let's do it. We begin with round 1, fucking obviously, and Pantoja opens up with a really nice combo early on, but Brandon is able to turn it into a grapple against the cage, although while against the cage, Pantoja lands some punches and a good couple of knees to the leg of Moreno. When they break it off, Moreno starts landing some really good combos on Pantoja, eventually trying to set things up with his jab quite well. They do stalemate for a bit after that, but Pantoja blasts Moreno with a huge right hand, follows up by falling into the ground because he does get a knockdown with it, falls into the ground, lands some good elbows that bust Moreno open around his right eye, around like the eyebrow area, I would say. Moreno eventually does get back up and the two start to trade some really nice boxing combos. Pantoja gets a slight upper hand and starts landing some body knees, which he had been landing earlier, but starts to double up on those. Moreno lands a really nice left hook. There's some really solid exchanges after that, with Moreno catching a head kick for a brief takedown before a scramble where Pantoja takes Moreno's back against cage. Moreno is able to escape, finishes with a 1-2 that almost goes past the bell. So I'm trying to think of any of the details I might have missed in that. I think Moreno was starting to slowly get better at the exchanges, but I'm still giving those to Pantoja. I'm giving round 1 to Pantoja as well. I think he did more than enough to steal round 1. He was on point with his boxing. His takedowns, well, he didn't really get any takedowns, not yet anyway, but he was landing quite well. The big right hand he landed, I think, really helped sway the round in his favour, and he did bust Moreno open pretty well with some elbows, and he was getting better with the exchanges. He was landing much shorter and more controlled shots, and he started the entire fight really quick, just going right after Moreno with a nice combo. Moreno did hold his own quite well though, but I am giving round 1 to Pantoja. In round 2, much like round 1, the two men just start going right after each other. The two land some amazing combos, opening up with some heavy shots. Moreno eventually lands a right hook and he starts setting up his jab a lot more, and he uses head move as well to avoid a lot of Pantoja's more damaging shots. And Pantoja starts expending his energy quite a bit, and Moreno is just utilising his head movement wonderfully. He's landing some really good 1-2 combos, swinging out the way, landing a right hook. As I say here in the note, lands a 1-2, slits for a hook, and he eventually gets Pantoja's back to a huge crowd pop. And this is not a note I wrote down, but it's one thought I had in my head earlier while I was watching the fight, which is Brandon Moreno's crowd response. Remember, they're not in Mexico, right? But Moreno is Mexican, Pantoja is Brazilian, thought I'd round that off. But for some reason, Moreno keeps getting huge crowd pops when he gets out of bad situations. That just reminded me a bit of Sami Zayn, because of his massive babyface push in WWE over the last year. I don't know, I thought it was a really good comparison to make. Anyway, Moreno gets the hooks in and fights for a rear naked choke, but Pantoja tries to escape, but Moreno switches it and gets into side control, stays on top. Pantoja eventually does get up, and Moreno lands more combos, going to the body a lot more, landing some really good body hooks, and finishing with the jab more often than not. Moreno keeps his defense up as well, blocking some really nice head kicks and some punches, counters with the jab and keeps out landing. Pantoja mostly staying on the outside, but staying in the pocket when needed. To close the round out, Moreno lands some more combos. Pantoja counters with another left hook and a knee, but he gets tripped over and Moreno finishes the round on top, landing some really solid grounded pounds before the round ends. And I'm giving round 2 to Moreno. He had a much better round here than he did in round 1. He was just outlanding Pantoja, utilising his reach a lot more, setting up with the jab way more, going to the body more, and it was just a really good round for him. Pantoja was starting to get maybe a little bit tight. He did land some good stuff here and there, but Moreno definitely got the better of it. He was using his defense really well. His head movement was great. His blocking was really good too. Yeah, I don't think round 2 can go to Pantoja in any conceivable way. I'm giving it to Moreno. We then get to round 3. Pantoja opens up with some really good punches. Moreno forces a clinch, but Pantoja lands an accidental knee to the groin. Moreno only takes about 13-15 seconds to recover. It doesn't take a lot of time. They get back to the fighting. Moreno opens with a jab and lands a good couple before Pantoja forces Moreno against the cage and drags him to the ground and starts seeking a rear naked choke, which is not only his bread and butter, but the same thing he finished Moreno with 5 years ago, that was Moreno's last UFC fight for a bit before he came back and eventually won the Flyweight Championship. So, goddamn, the story thread. That's really nice. Anyway, Moreno manages to escape to another massive crowd pop. I fucking love that. Gets into guard and lets Pantoja up before he starts landing his jabs more, hits some nice combos as Pantoja lands another left hook, which really damages Moreno. He also, Moreno burst Pantoja up with some elbows while they were standing. I do forget to mention that, although I wrote it in the middle of this note for some reason. But yeah, he lands some really nice up elbows that open a cut around, or at least worse than a cut around the bridge of Moreno's nose, and his blood starts going everywhere. And his right eye starts to swell as well, from what I remember. Moreno ends another combo with a nice head kick, continuing with the boxing combos and landing a leg kick as well here and there. Another head kick combo lands and Pantoja goes for a double leg, pushing Moreno against the cage. There is a brief break from that before Pantoja goes for another takedown and gets it this time, escaping a very narrow triangle choke from Moreno before Moreno manages to get back up again. Pantoja lands some elbows from the bottom, but Moreno ends up for some really nice ground pounds. There's kind of a stalemate to the end, but Pantoja does end with a nice 1-2 leg kick combo. I'm giving round 3, and it's difficult. I would say round 3 is the closest round of the fight. I'm giving round 3 slightly in favour to Moreno, because I think he was still utilising the strategy he had in round 1. He was mixing up more with more leg and head kicks as well. While Pantoja did get a good takedown and did land some really good stuff, I think him being busted open by Moreno early on started to offset things. But I'm giving round 3, and a lot of people do give this to Pantoja. I'm giving it slightly in favour to Moreno, but it's the closest round. And I could easily understand any argument made for Pantoja winning it. I just felt more like Moreno won it. I think the thing that might win me over with it, I am going to get to round 4, trust me, is the massive crowd pop he had when he escaped the takedown. So, I don't know, that might as well get in my favour. In round 4, Brandon opens up with some really nice jabs. Pantoja counters and lands a good leg kick. Moreno lands a double left combo with the going to the body and then going to the head, as well as landing a nice uppercut. Pantoja lands some more jabs and a good combo that ends with another really good leg kick. And he starts throwing more stuff in the pocket, hitting Moreno with a good knee and another really nice left hook. Moreno lands another elbow, but Pantoja manages to eat it, basically, and goes for a takedown. Moreno scrambles out, but Pantoja clinches his back against the cage. Moreno almost spins out, but Pantoja stays on and drags him down again and getting to half guard. They get to a sprawl with Pantoja on top, and there's sort of a bit of stalemate after that, but Moreno does try to escape. Pantoja does take his back against the fence again. They just rested against the cage for a bit until Pantoja takes the fight back to the ground. He goes for an arm triangle, but Moreno manages to slip and turn it around and gets on top of Pantoja. He gets some good ground and pound in before he backs away, and he lands some heavy punches and elbows. Pantoja goes for another takedown, but Moreno counters, and he closes the round with a really nice elbow. Again, I think, again, probably worsening the cut on Pantoja's head. But yeah, I'm giving around 4, like the majority of it, I'm giving to Pantoja again. Like, his takedown and grappling work is really good, and he was starting to land some really, some good combos as well, after not having a great round 2. And again, a debatable, like, round 3, such a good round. Round 4 is where the action does maybe start to dip a little bit as well, but I'm still giving round 4 to Pantoja. His grappling work was great. He got some more takedowns on Moreno, and I think if he hadn't gone for the arm triangle, he could have finished it in round 4, because like that was a huge mistake on his part. And again, there was another huge crowd pop when Moreno was able to escape from it. But I'm heaping all this praise on Moreno. Pantoja did win the round. he won the round. Again, great grapple work, really nice combos here and there. Yeah, not really much else to add. And then we get to the 5th and final round. It does start with a stalemate for roughly a minute. They're both throwing a few light jabs and some hooks here and there. Some hooks here and there. But Pantoja's the first one to land a big combo that ends with some, he has some nice hooks in that combo. They trade some stuff back and forth, with Moreno landing more hooks and eventually knocking Pantoja back a little bit with some huge swinging shots. Pantoja lands a bigger left of his own, which backs Moreno up. Moreno does start throwing more jabs from the outside of the counter hook, landing the same strategy he did in round 2. They both connect with some more hook. Again, honestly, the boxing combos in this match are just great. Moreno seems to be getting the better of the punching combos, though, while they're standing. However, Pantoja lands a body shot and a hook. Moreno lands an elbow and some hooks of his own. Before Pantoja gets into the takedown, he takes the back and Moreno stands up with a body triangle hooked in. He starts to try and fight for the rear naked choke and does eventually start pushing Moreno down, but he doesn't really get the choke, and this is like the last minute and 20 seconds of the fight that they spend in this position. And it's really where the fight starts to dip a little bit. But I think Pantoja did enough to win it, so I'm giving the round 5 to Pantoja. I think he looked a lot fresher in round 5 going into it. I think he had the confidence that he won round 4, and, again, he feels like he won round 3. His combos were really nice on Moreno. Hit him with some really good boxing, started throwing a few more kicks, which I did quite like. And again, his grappling work was just really good. He shot for some really nice takedowns. And, we've got to talk about the end of the fight now. So, Pantoja, rightfully so, does win by split decision. And I don't really have many complaints about this fight. This fight was really good. It's a possible top 10 contender for fight of the year. My main issue with it is the last minute and a bit of the fight. It really drains the energy out of the audience, and it's just like a lot of resting. I know that they're both tired after putting in basically a 23-minute and 50-second shift. But besides that, no real notes. I don't have any issue at all with Pantoja winning it or Brandon losing it. I like Brandon a lot. He's an inherently just very naturally likable person. I mean, his nickname, the Babyface Assassin, for a reason. Like, he's just such a good guy, And it's not that Pantoja's a bad guy, but God, he was getting a lot of heat from the crowd, which I don't fully understand. But yeah, we have a new UFC Flyweight Champion, Pantoja. Props to him for winning. An incredibly close and action-packed fight that had some amazing crowd work. I fucking loved it. The crowd were absolutely on fire, and much like the crowd, I wanted Moreno to keep it, but, it wasn't meant to be. I do think Pantoja did enough to win the fight by split decision. It was called a split decision, and I absolutely agree with it being that way. But one of the best things about this is that we could possibly have another banger down the line, because Moreno did that with Davison Figueiredo, so what's to say you can't do it with Pantoja? I would love to see that. I would love to see them run this one back. This fight was really, really good. Go and find it when you can. It's worth your time. And that'll about do it for this. The next thing I'll see you for will probably be Music of the Week episode on Thursday, and the Go Home Show for Over the Top on Friday. It's going to be good stuff. And thank you to everyone who watched this past weekend's stream as well. The past Friday stream of PW vs AVW. Those parts are probably going to be up on Tuesday night, knowing my upload schedule. So, I'll see you all for that. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.